Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and this time we're going all electric as we review the Polestar 2. Let's check it out. So let's have a look at the exterior of the Polestar 2. Now, the looks have split opinion amongst people I've spoken to. I personally think it looks quite good. A lot of people asking, is it a Volvo, is it a Citroen, is it a Peugeot? You can sort of see there's a bit of crossover going on between other things, but I think it stands out in a good way in its own right. It is, of course, from the same design stable as Volvo. It's made in China by Geely, which is the parent company of Volvo as well. So there are elements taken straight out of the Volvos. So in many respects, it is an electric Volvo. But Polestar is a brand in its own right. So this model comes with the performance pack, which includes those 20-inch forged alloy wheels, and you can see the gold Brembo brakes in there as well, and the gold dust caps. So they are all features of the performance pack upgrade, which is £5,000 on top of the $49,950 that this car retails for. You can also see the gold seat belts inside there as well. They're part of the performance pack as well. It comes with these frameless wing mirrors, which I think look quite good actually. A bit futuristic. They offer really good visibility actually when you're driving. So yeah, I think they're quite a nice touch, and these full rear tail lights are very in vogue at the moment as well, and pretty futuristic looking. So while we're here, we'll just have a quick look in the boot, and there is plenty of space in here. You can get all your shopping and bags and suitcases in here, and there's separate storage compartment, so you can separate out your shopping in there, and there is another little compartment under there as well. So very practical car. As you notice, because it is electric, there are no exhausts, so another unique design feature to this sort of car. Right, let's have a look at the interior. So we'll start in the back. There's plenty of space in here. Comes with ISOFIX and all that sort of stuff, so you'd be comfortable in there for long journeys. There's plenty of headroom too. So yeah, not a lot to fault back there. But let's jump in the front and have a look at the cabin from the driver's perspective. So all of the materials used inside the Polestar 2 are vegan. You can chuck them, I think it's £4,000, and they'll smash up a few cows and give you leather interior if that's your preference. But this is all very well put together. It's all very robust, and yeah, it's a nice place to be. Quite like this gear handle. It's a nice design. Get the Polestar logo in there. There's another thing on the panoramic roof that you can see. They just project the Polestar 2, or the Polestar logo rather, onto the roof there, which is quite a nice touch. So this is the view from the driver's position. You get a nice instrument cluster comes up on here, including all of your sat nav information and that sort of stuff, and it's all very easy and very accessible to use. And this is probably the pièce de la résistance of this car, is that you get full Google integration with the car straight away. So you can just go straight to Google Maps and it will navigate you to wherever it is you want to be going. On the whole, it's a very comfortable place to be. There's plenty of nooks and crannies for your bits and pieces on longer journeys. It's got air conditioning, it's got the heated steering wheel, heated seats, all of that sort of thing. There's really not a lot to fault. The Harman Kardon stereo, which comes as standard with the cars, is very good as well. And that's another good thing actually that Polestar have done, is that the vast majority of the bits and pieces in here just come as standard. So the only upgrade to this car is the performance pack, and the only interior sign of that is those gold seat belts, which I quite like. They're a little bit different. But otherwise, the panoramic roof, everything else, the interior, the Google integration, the screens, the stereo, everything comes as standard. So that's quite a good selling point, I think, for these. All in all, I think this is a really nice place to be. I think they've done a really good job on the cabin. So what's the Polestar 2 like to drive? Well, actually very good. Might sound like I'm damning it with faint praise, but it's quite like driving a car. It's very easy, very accessible. There's no added gimmicks or anything like that might throw you off the scent. It's very easy, very approachable, very accessible. You just jump in, foot on the brake, select D, and off you go. I mean, going back to key in the ignition is going to feel positively archaic after this experience, but on the whole, I'm very impressed with it. one point to note is it does 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. The engine produces just over 400 brake horsepower. You can check out the last review we did of the Lexus LC500, and that also did 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds, but the manner in which they achieve it could not be more different. And the acceleration in the Polestar is just instant, quite violent, and it's relentless. Once it picks up, it just goes and it stays gone. It pins you back in your seat, and it's, you know, it does make you sort of laugh out loud the first couple of times you do it. You just go and whoa, everything all of a sudden just picks up on you and hurtles you towards the horizon. It's quite a unique experience to electric cars, and it's something that, you know, you get used to quite quickly. The one pedal driving as well, the regenerative braking, so if you're not accelerating, you're braking, and then that's putting power back into the battery to improve your range and that sort of thing, which is quite important. The ride quality is very good, it's very smooth, the handling's okay. I mean, maybe the seats could be a bit more supportive if you're going for the aggressive cornering. As I mentioned on the walk around, this car does come with the performance pack, which is a £5,000 upgrade. That does give you Öhlins adaptive dampers, but you have to get the spanners out and do them yourself. I mean, that appeals to some people. I mean, would I spend my Sunday mornings with the spanners out adjusting the dampers? Probably not. But I do like the gold seat belts and the gold brakes, and the 20-inch rims look good as well. So, can't see, come sir. But overall, I've been very impressed with this car. I wasn't sure quite what I was going to make of it, and actually, you know, having had it for the week, you know, I found it so easy just to get to grips with, and just jumped in and, you know, was away with it straight away. And the Google integration in the car is fantastic as well. I mean, you'd normally default to Google Maps when the in-car sat-nav lets you down, but you've got Google Maps in the centre console here at your disposal straight away, and that's a really neat feature in this car, and certainly be a selling point going forwards, and sort of shows what can be done in these cars. You know, the cabin's light and airy too, the seats are comfortable, it's got heated steering wheel, heated seats, all that sort of thing. And, you know, it's been, yeah, I've actually been quite impressed. You know, I was quite worried about the change in scenery, like I mentioned the LC500 earlier, and the sense of theatre and excitement you got in that car from the naturally aspirated V8 engine. I mean, yeah, of course you don't get that in this, but it's an altogether calmer experience. I find driving around in this, just wafting along in near silence, it's a very, very different driving experience, but not necessarily in a bad way. I mean, you know, plant the right foot and you will just take off towards the horizon, you know, very suddenly, and it's you know, has got performance to match other cars at similar price points. And, you know, on the whole, yeah, I mean, if this is the future of motoring, then, you know, it's not as bad as we might have initially feared. But you know, on the whole, yeah, it's very good, very easy, very accessible car to get to grips with. You know, the only major drawback is no fault of the car itself, and that's the accessibility of the charging network that's available at the moment. I mean, that has been the only drawback, really. There's been the amount of time I've had to spend at a petrol station with it plugged into a 50 kilowatt per hour charger, because that's the fastest I could find near me. And that's not really the fault of Polestar, it's the environment that it's been built into, and the network's not quite there to support it yet. But if you can fit a charging point at home, if you've got a drive, you know, you can get them fitted. I had a look, I think you can get them done. You'd get change out of £1,000, I think, for getting one installed on your drive. And then, you know, that really makes range anxiety a bit of a red herring, because you get over 200-mile range in this, and if you can top it up when you get home, just plug it in, leave it overnight, get in it in the morning and it's 100%. I mean, how often are you doing more than 200 miles in a day? And if you are, then, you know, the electric cars they're not really going to work for you, and that's just the way it is. But, you know, it is an adapting scene, it is an evolving scene, and it's only going to get better. But yeah, if you live in a flat or you've got on-street parking, then, you know, unfortunately it is going to be a bit of an issue, at least for the time being, getting it charged. But if you can get the charging dock installed at home, then, you know, there's really not a lot to fault with this car at all. I've been quite impressed with it, and as a signpost for the electric car future, I don't think it's a bad one at all. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please check out our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and check out the other videos we're doing. We'll have more coming shortly. Thanks.